Woo! I love this.
All right, just a heads up, everybody, you are live.
Oh,
Okay. I will call the meeting to order. Roll call. Chuck Krumholtz,
Present.
Sean Clifton,
Present.
Roger Ansell,
Present.
Tim Hansley,
Present and accounted for.
John Reiner. John? Jan Rosansky. Somebody, oh, Dana's on. Okay. Mike Kehoe,
Here.
Bonnie Gamery,
Here.
and Dana. Earth to Dana, take yourself off mute.
I'm talking to myself here.
Okay, so we're missing John and Jan, the two J boys. Okay, hang on a minute. I've had some computer problems, so I don't have a printed version of the agenda. I have to use my iPad to get it. Do we have a flag?
Yes, I can pull that up for you.
Please. I would ask you all to rise. Repeat the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
and justice for all.
Amen.
Okay. Did everybody have a chance to review the minutes of the October 22nd meeting?
yes.
Are there any
Yes.
issues or questions? Hearing none, I would ask for a motion to approve the meeting minutes of October 22nd.
This is Mike Kehoe, so moved. This is Chuck Rummels, I second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Reese Across America. I don't think we have Dan on.
I could give you a quick update, Mr. Chair, if that's all right. So the actual ceremony for that will be on Saturday, December 19th. I believe it starts at 9, but we can get that information out to you. It also will be on our website. We'll get the information out there to you. They're actually videotaping much of that tomorrow. Now, when I say ceremony there, will mean people can come and set wreaths out. They won't be gathering for a ceremony. The ceremony will actually be videotaped, much like you're doing, we did with Veterans Day and Memorial Day. But people will be able to come and help place wreaths. That'll be very controlled how they do that. And also the other reason we want to put this on here, there was a question raised during last meeting about the identification of veterans' graves in the cemeteries. And I think we did push out a link to you all where you could go to see where we had took inventory of those and put them into our system. Now, that's still a little bit of work in progress, but for the most part, that inventory is done and has been posted. So hopefully you had a chance to go take a look at that, or if you haven't had a chance, take a look at it and you can see where those have been inventoried.
Dana, I don't think I got a link.
Nick or
Where was that?
Kirby, or Candy, did we push that out?
I did
Candy
not.
is not on the call, and I did not either.
Okay.
I'll
Thought I had
follow up
Candy
with
push it. Kim Mahaney, who works, helps with our cemeteries,
Yes,
had pushed that out, and I thought we had forwarded to you all. We'll make sure that gets forwarded. It's a link to the cemetery website. You could go to the cemetery website, the Dublin website, to the cemeteries, and then you can access that inventory through the website. But I'll get you the direct link that'll expedite you getting to that on the website.
yeah, and maybe I wasn't specific enough, but when we first did that project, Dana, it was my understanding that we could take an iPad or a smart device into the cemetery and stand at a grave point, and it would tell us who it was or give us an image of that grave through GPS linkage.
No, that's more attuned to what we presented last meeting about how we could use augmented reality and those kinds of devices and methods to be able to do that. We
Okay,
haven't taken it to that level. The first level was inventory, get it into the system. You can go through the system though, and in some cases, you can get a little bit of information about the veteran. There's not all of those are populated because we don't know all those stories.
understand.
But some of those that we do know might say that they, served in this war or that war or what have you. So in some occasions, when you go in there, you'll find some background.
Well, I think I know who can help us with that.
Okay.
Tom Holton.
Yeah. I mean, without a doubt, Tom probably has a good line on that. So
And he may not know them all, but he will dig. He and his crew.
right.
So maybe that's another project.
Yeah. I think like I said, I think the key focus was just to find out who we have and where,
Right.
and then try to build off that platform. So, but I'll continue to follow up on that, Jeff, and see how we can build on it.
All right. I'll contact Tom and see if he's interested
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
in identifying, if we can identify the veterans' graves for him, and
Mhm.
he could do a little research on who it was and where they were.
Right.
I mean, a lot of the gravestones actually tell you because they give you information as to what unit they were in.
Mhm.
So that's a good clue.
Right. I tell you the other thing that we picked up on when we were doing the Rees Across America program is the little markers that get posted next to the headstone or at the foot. It might say what war they were in. So there are World War II medallions and Spanish American War medallions and American Revolution medallions and Civil War and all the different conflicts. And it's amazing how many different conflicts we have represented.
Oh, I think we have every one.
Yeah, going all the way back to the American Revolutionary War.
I'm not sure about Spanish American, but
Spanish American. I saw a Spanish American one.
Did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
which kind of surprised me. And the thing about it is I was doing some research on my own, just trying to figure out where I can buy those. Because I want to go around and replace all of those. And for those who don't have them, I want to make sure.
Okay, Dana McDaniel, city manager.
Been working on it.
Let me tell you about Franklin County Veterans Service Commission and one of our missions in life.
Okay.
Is to provide those medallions. Your people.
Well, I need a truckload of them, brother.
Wait a minute. Your people know this because I had a meeting with them when we did that project. And the whole thing started because they hit Bill Doty's with a lawnmower and they bent it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I started raising Cain, and it took them 9 months to get a replacement. Well, we can replace those in a couple of weeks. All they have to do is send us a picture and we will replace it.
Why can't you give us an inventory of those that we can then put on there? Number one, we need to catch some up. There's a lot of broken ones that just need replacement.
I can do that.
All right.
You are talking about the brass, usually they're circles.
Right.
That they inlay into the stone, that sort of thing.
Well, they kind of sit on a little stake next to the headstone, typically.
Well, now that may be a different story. I mean, we put Legion posts in there. Some of those, if that's truly the case, the federal government actually issues medallions. They're like a medallion, a round bronze medallion that you can insert into stone. If you look at Bill Doty's, down at the foot of his grave, he's got a separate stone with his World War II medallion in it.
Okay, so what you're talking about is it's like a smaller plaque, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a stone with a medallion in it. Yeah.
See, what I'm talking about are these, each war has this type of medallion. It's a little circular medallion that is mounted on a stake. And that can be put next to, because some of those, like going back to the American Revolution, Spanish American War, they don't have those.
And they may do that also. I will research that for you.
Yeah, I was researching those online and trying to figure out where to find them. And
but
it's interesting. There's
replacements for those. All you need to do is send us a picture and explain, we need a replacement, and we'll do it. So
I'll take some pictures of a handful, and then I'll email them down to Buck and see if he can get me see how he responds to that.
Yeah, kick butt.
Oh, I will.
I know you will.
I'm looking for an excuse to kick Buck around. So,
By the way, I asked him. He did sell his house. He's living up at the lake house right now. I said, "Well, how's your Epcot house going?" He said, "Oh, they apparently failed to disclose in writing a $12,000 upgrade." So he's fighting with them.
Wow. Ouch.
Ouch.
Guy, yes. He's been through a lot.
Okay.
Okay, that's good discussion. I appreciate that. That's very helpful.
Yes. Anything else on
the wreaths? No.
America?
Nope, nothing else.
I just wanted to say I have the list of databases. I will send them out to you, and you'll be able to zoom in and see where veterans' graves are, the name, the age in which they passed away, and their date of death.
All right.
So that information may be helpful.
Yes. We use it every year we try to use it, or we're hoping to use it for the scouts when they plant the flags on Memorial Day, to help guide us as to make sure that everybody gets a flag. Okay, anything else on Wreaths Across America?
Nothing else.
World War II Memorial Relocation Status. I did notice, Dana, that the old stone is still there, and I assume that they will leave that in place until they get the new one.
Yeah, they will. No change on this status. It's still in progress.
Okay. Any questions on the memorial status? Has everybody seen what the final memorial will look like?
Yeah, that virtual tour that's available, that's pretty cool that they posted, I think, on the website.
Yeah, but I'm not sure the what they showed you in that tour was older stuff. So I don't know that you've seen the final. I do have a copy of it. I will try to get it out to you. last time I tried that, the thing told me the file was too big and I couldn't send it, so. All right. Anything else on World War II? Way ahead for Purple Hat City. Sean?
Yeah, I think we're ready to move forward with pushing a motion to the city council. We've got plenty of draft documents, example proclamations, and resolutions. We've got a good solid contact through Randy Housen to act as an advisor for this process. But I mean, I'd like to make a motion to move this forward to city council if I could.
Did we do that last month?
No, we haven't officially, the committee hadn't officially made a recommendation to council. And just if I could add to Sean's comments there, Mr. Chair. So really, and Sean will help me out here, but really the process is that the city issues what they call a proclamation, which we could do the same. Our process, I think, would be that this committee recommend, if you're in agreement, that the city proclaim itself, if you will, as a Purple Heart City. We notify the group really out of Dayton that Sean's been working with. We notify them. Well, actually, what I'm recommending is that this committee recommend that council designate Dublin as a Purple Heart City. John, we'll draft up a staff report reflecting that. We'll put all the background in that Sean's put together about it and what that looks like, what that entails, and that'll go to council if you approve that today on December 7th. I'll help John Reiner report out a committee report to council on December 7th about that. And then, so the recommendation is to declare Dublin as a Purple Heart City. Council will have the background. What we would ask them to do is essentially by head nod or by a vote, agree to that and direct the mayor to issue a proclamation. So this is where it ties into the folks in Dayton, which has been part of the confusion of all of this. So then the mayor would issue a proclamation, which we would model after what these other cities have done. And that proclamation then would proclaim Dublin as a Purple Heart City. That's the trigger they're looking for in their organization. So then Dublin becomes a Purple Heart City. Now, the official ceremony and stuff to do that, I think, Sean, what we talked about with them would probably happen at some later date.
That's right.
Because you don't want to do it. I think you didn't want that to really happen virtually. Because what happens is this group comes in full military uniform, which, by the way, is purple, with purple berets and all. I mean, it's pretty cool what they do. And they do a whole ceremony around this. And what they had shared with Sean and I is that we can get on their schedule for them to come to Dublin. The proclamation would be read in this ceremony, maybe as part of a council meeting or maybe not. And then they would do a ceremony declaring and establishing us as a Purple Heart City. So that's ceremony and that sort of thing. And then you are. And then there's other things you can do, like, we could put signage up, or maybe someday there could be a memorial or a monument rather, which would probably require some fundraising and participation and design and all that stuff down the road. That doesn't have to be done right away. I think we agreed to, Sean, and that really what we're trying to do is get the designation first, get the ceremony lined up, and then we could do the other things to recognize it. So and we can sort out what that is later. And then as to when we do the ceremony, it doesn't have to happen right away. I mean, one of the things was let's wait till spring. Let's see how COVID's going. The National Purple Heart Day is in August, I believe.
That's right.
Maybe even you wait till that, and we can and if we're early enough, we can get them on our calendar. So anyway, sorry for the long speech, but that's kind of some of the background and pieces and parts how this could work.
Yeah, there's definitely several moving pieces after the proclamation's approved. A lot of the dog and pony show type stuff we can push off to really as late as we want. But my goal is to have our committee send it off, have our committee approve it, send it to city council, just so we can get that administrative process going, get the proclamation written, and then it's just a piece of paper, right? But that will really be the first link in a chain of events of things that can happen for our city, to include grants, funding for these monuments, memorials, signage, those types of things that would support Dublin as a Purple Heart City. The proclamation is just that first step. That's why I'd like to get that in front of City Council and get that ball going.
Okay, any questions? Other discussion? I would entertain a motion to the effect that we advise City Council to issue a proclamation to the effect that Dublin is a Purple Heart City.
This is Bonnie Gameri. I so move that we designate Dublin a Purple Heart City. Send that to council.
Is there a second?
I second that, and thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? There weren't a whole lot of ayes. Is everybody muted?
I think we all said it at the same time and canceled each other out.
I saw the lips move. That counts. So
Okay, motion is carried. We will send to council advice that we wish to have Dublin as a Purple Heart City and that they should make a proclamation to that effect.
And Mr. Chair, if I can, I just want to say thanks to Sean. He's done an incredible amount of work on this, a lot of research, and it was not easy getting us with the guys out of Dayton. We had a great conversation with them, and Sean made all that happen, and I really appreciate that.
Okay. Let's see, update on Veterans Corner and interactive displays at the library grounds of Remembrance. Mr. Kehoe and Mr. Ansel.
Here's the update. After the library personnel returned from their travels, we were able to focus on the date. Last week, we had a meeting in progress. And our communication broke down with Doug McCullough. We had to postpone the meeting. We're now in the process of trying to reestablish a date. So since our last meeting, literally there has been nothing done other than trying to coordinate meetings. So no progress on that, Jeff.
Okay. So Mike, you were warbling a little bit, but as I understand it, you had a meeting planned. It didn't happen for whatever reason, and you're trying to reschedule.
Affirmative.
Okay. Any questions? We already heard a comment about Mike's video tour, which probably be included in some way, shape, or form of the interactive video. Anybody else have comments on it? Think there is something else there that should be done or something that should not be done?
And Mr. Chair, I have a quick update from our communications team that I can share that is related to this.
Okay.
I'm going to share my screen really quickly.
This is Nick, right?
This is Nick, sorry. This is Nick, and you can see on the screen here, what our communications team has done is taken the video that Mr. Kehoe did and broken it up into smaller segments. And these are just some of the things that they're thinking about maybe sharing through, could be a QR code, could be in the library, could be somewhere around the library. And they would just be these smaller segments that sort of highlight the different components that make up Grounds of Remembrance. So I just wanted to give a quick share as to some of the things that our communications team is thinking about and how they think they might utilize the video that Mr. Kehoe did.
Good.
Yeah, I don't want to, if I could jump in, I don't want to insult anyone's intelligence, but you go to a restaurant and you hold your phone up to that code and the menu pops up. Have you all done that in a restaurant? So,
Yes. Yes.
so this is the same effect, but what would pop up is the video, or that portion of the video, and what he's showing you here is the ground of remembrance and breaking that down. You could even do that QR code on the window of the library looking out, and they could pull up that QR code and play that whole video. And among other things, you could have other things in there too, whatever you would want it to be. So, but anyway, just trying to lean forward a little bit on some of the things you might want to do.
Nick, can you forward me a copy of that document?
Yeah, I'll share this with all of you, and we'll keep you in the loop and keep you updated if these things progress, and if we happen to do something, or they do a pilot with putting some of these QR codes out there, we'll keep you all aware and let you know as soon as they're out there.
I guess one of the issues I would have is how those codes are implanted. The dedication wall, I probably wouldn't have an issue with, or the reception wall, the recognition wall. The POWMIA KIA memorial, you'd have to be very careful. I mean, if it's a little like one of the little posts that Dana was talking about that we used in the cemetery to identify a World War II veteran, probably not an issue. But if you're going to put something fairly large and plant it in front of that stone, that might be an issue. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I would think that they would look to be as sensitive as possible to all of those components. And I think, if they start to think down the road on some of this stuff, I think maybe we could bring them here to the committee to potentially present, sort of what they're thinking through and so forth. But I don't think the intent is to put it on any of the monuments or anything like that. I think they're looking for opportunities to maybe introduce people and folks to draw them to the Grounds of Remembrance and get them engaged with components that exist there in the park.
And I do understand that, but I it's difficult because if you don't put the code near the recognition walk, they don't know that,
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Yeah, I think we'll have to explore different ways on how to mount these QR codes.
yeah,
It's not like they're going to take a sticker and stick it on something. They'll have to, mount it very respectfully and in a way that's close by, to your point, that it's applicable to what it's there for. The other thing I would want to emphasize is this is kind of a trial run type of thing, and because we have the video that Mike did, it makes it easy to break up and do that way. This is really about the story you all want to tell.
right.
So, as you continue to work on your ideas, Mike and others, Roger and others that are working on this and the whole committee, this is intended to reflect the things that you want it to be. And it may not just be this. I mean, it may be the other things that you're thinking about. This is just a method. And then we can use this method as a way to convey what you all feel the message should be and what's important and the stories you want to tell and things like that. I mean, this stuff can go so many different directions with this kind of technology. You can have individuals telling their story about service, or you can have, the sky's the limit on ideas. So, that's what we need you all to do. We want it to meet your needs and what it is you want it to be. We're just trying to figure out the platform to support what your idea would be. So just keep that in mind.
Okay. Any other questions, discussion on Veterans Corner and interactive displays? Other new business?
I think Mac had something to say. He just needs to unmute.
Sorry about that. Yeah. the interviews that were done at Scioto by the students up there, there's going to be a lot of interesting information that have come out of those interviews. Could they or some of them be incorporated with this?
Yeah, I think the answer to that is yes. It's just a matter of how. So, you know, I think we would be open to anything and everything you all think is important. It's just how we leverage the platform to do it, right? That's the challenge. So if you have those kind of ideas, you all want to start advancing, you know, I know the committee's working with the library and so forth, you know, as you advance those ideas, we'll try to match it up to platforms. You may have other ideas of platforms you want to use. So this is just one. This is one of several that may be available. So,
Hey, Bonnie,
I just posted the link to all of those interviews in the chat for everybody to see. And that link could easily be a QR code that brings up all of that information.
Right.
let me ask this. In the past, when the kids did the storyboard, is there an image of all those storyboards somewhere?
There is not. We're actually starting to capture all that because we needed to go digital. And so the link that I posted has all of them in a digital form now, but not in the past.
That's too bad. And talking about Dublin veterans, that might be a great place to capture a little bit of information about a Dublin veteran. So keep it up. Are you going to do digital?
The Veterans Memorial downtown? You seen that?
Excuse me?
The Veterans Memorial downtown Columbus. You know, they've got that type deal where you can walk through, press a button, and hear a veteran's story. It's pretty interesting.
Well, yeah, and Sean, this Dublin Scioto thing is, they've done storyboards every year. They were physical boards that stood up and they put pictures and statements and writing, that sort of thing about a veteran. I don't know how many of those were Dublin veterans, but I assume that many were. So capturing that kind of information would be great. Bonnie, are you gonna do a virtual from now on? Are you gonna go back?
We are. We found that it actually reaches out to all the veterans in a easier manner. Because all they got to do is if I go to that link and then they have it at their home. It's not like they have to go to Scioto to see all the veterans. And of course, also in this, the students will go with their families. So they will look at their families and what veterans are in their family. So if they live here in Dublin, some of them we could feel confident they're using parents, uncles, grandparents, and so we know that they're going to go there first. And if it's a parent, well, they live here in the community, right?
Right.
So we can be pretty confident that many of them are local. But we haven't done digital in the past, but we'll continue to do it. That I do know.
Okay. Other new business from other members? Well, I don't know how many of you know, but the city did do a new website. It's called DublinVeterans.com. If you go to that website, currently what you will see or what you will find is a video of the Memorial Day ceremony, a video of the Veterans Day ceremony, Mike's video of the tour of the grounds of Remembrance. And there are other items in there, including resources. And it talks about, you know, Wreaths Across America, They have done this to support veterans, which is great. And we do have the ability to ask them to post other stuff. So I might ask Lori, for instance, to put your Scioto interviews out there. Not sure that will do it, but maybe they'll just do a link to your interviews and explain what they are, and then people could go in there and look for somebody. I just wanted to say I think it's great. We used to have a veterans website for the Legion and the VFW, and we couldn't keep it up. I mean, it just, but this, they have the resources to do, and it works. So I would challenge you all, or ask you all, to go out to www.dublinveterans.com and take a look. If you have ideas about what we could link to, what we could put out there, don't hesitate to come back and tell us. Dana, you got anything further on that?
No, the only, I appreciate that the staff was doing that. That's one of those sites that it's managed by Dublin, but it's intended to be sort of a non-Dublin site. And I'm kind of going back and forth with our communications people on that right now, because we have a tendency to have brand proliferation, I call it. So it's yet another brand and another thing, and it gets confusing. So I just want to make sure that, you know, it's branded properly, which they're working on. But as far as a central location for all of that's intended to host anything and everything related to veterans. So, you know, we could put links to the veteran services, be it Franklin County, Union County, Delaware County, the state veterans, you know, the Veterans Administration. We could do things like that too, that could make it easier for veterans to find portals and services and things like that. It could be one of the angles that this website can take as well, in addition to just telling the Dublin veteran story. So, you know, hopefully that's the kind of thing we can build off of that platform. So.
Okay. Any questions on that? Any other new business?
Mr. Chair, if I could ask a quick question to the group.
Sure.
Just regarding veteran-owned small businesses in Dublin, do we know if there's does the Dublin Chamber of Commerce maintain any type of veteran-owned specific group? Is there any type of veteran-owned small business committee or organization just in Dublin? We're trying to create a veteran-owned small business network, and I'd like to start with Dublin, but just wanted to throw that out there to see if I should go to the Chamber of Commerce first, or if there are any other connections.
I would suspect, John, that they at least have a partial, because as the commander of the Legion, I get a call every 2 or 3 years asking for information on where we are, what we are, whatever. So I'm assuming they do that that polling with all the businesses in Dublin. Now, whether they ask a specific question about veteran owned, that's another, you'd have to ask them.
Yeah, I'm not aware of a list that our economic development team keeps on that, but the chamber might. I'll ask them for you, Sean, and get back to you on that. As far as the chamber goes, I don't know if they have a designation or not. Appreciate you developing that, though. We'll work with you on that.
Yeah, it's something we've just some peers in our industry are trying to get together, particularly with 2020 and COVID and small business frustrations and trying to find grants and funding for some of these service disabled veteran-owned small businesses. It's been a bit of a pain for some of the small businesses just simply to survive. And we found a bit of a shortcoming with just simply networking. Hey, what other veteran-owned businesses are out there in the area, and we can kind of team up on resources and best practices and whatnot. But I wanted to ask the committee, Veterans Committee, first before I start pushing out to the Dublin Chamber and other areas.
Okay, other new business.
Jeff, this is not new business, but just a curious question. Dana, I assume you use this WebEx platform for council meetings and other city business. Do you normally have this audio warbling when the other meetings are going on? Okay.
No, I don't know what's going on today. And it could be that if we're not all muted at this, and leave one person talking, you can get a lot of that going on in the background. So that could be part of our problem today. But, we typically don't have that issue.
Yeah, Dana's right. It's typically when your microphone is picking up your speakers, so it creates an echo and ends up making this really weird noise.
Okay. Anything else? Next meeting. We will not meet in December. That looks like the next third Thursday of the month. If that's the date we're going to do, is the 21st of January. Does anybody have an issue with 21 January?
You have listed on the agenda today, it's January 14th.
Oh, sorry. All right. We'll do January 14th. Which is going to be the second, but that's all right. All right. Does anybody have a problem with Thursday, January 14th? And as a reminder, we kind of talked about moving to once every 2 months. So December is not a good month to do anything anyway. If there are enough issues on the table in January, we can always fill in with a meeting in February. If you look at
just so y'all know, I mean, from a staff perspective, we'll meet as often as y'all want. I mean, if you have some hot issue you want to actively work and you want to meet as often as you want, we're here to support you. So, we're here at your pace and your needs.
okay, you can see the other dates that project out. Just kind of plan on those for the time being. If we need to adjust, we'll adjust. Is there anything else? All right, I'll do a roll call question. Chuck, you got anything?
I do not. Thank you.
Sean, anything else?
Just one more save round here. Veterans.org. We have recommendations, suggestions, or something. Is there a POC for that? Is there contact info on the website?
Why don't you send those into, just shoot an email to, go ahead and send it to Nick, and you can copy me on it if you want, and then we'll advance that to our communications team.
Thank you.
Are you there, Jeff?
I'm muted, sorry. Roger, you have anything else?
Sir.
Okay, Matt,
No.
Mr. Hansley,
I do not have anything else for the good of the order, but thanks for asking.
okay. Mr. Reiner, Mr. Rosansky, you have not joined us, have you? Mike,
Pass.
Bonnie,
So I was looking at all the interviews, and Mac was on there twice. So I would suggest you all kind of go to that site and see. And Jeff's in there, and I'm in there, and there might be somebody else, but I haven't went through all of them yet. But I did see that Mac got
Mr.
double hit there.
Mike Kehoe's in there.
They both promised me residuals.
Mr. Keogh's in there. Actually, I think, Mac, you robbed Pete Borland, who's a Navy guy. He was one on the list and he never got a call, so. There are other friends and neighbors out there. Bonnie's there. Patty Borland's there. Susan Daoud, who's a Marine Corps Master Sergeant, retired, she's out there. So, yeah, take a look. Okay, anything else? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? Anybody second?
Second, Tim.
Second.
All in favor? Unmute.
Aye.
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 See you next time, folks.
Okay.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you. Same to you all.
Happy Veterans Day.